Hey,
live?
Yes, I think this thing is working. Okay.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Matt.
Hey there, I'm Bianca.
And you keep talking.
Uh-oh. Hi. So welcome to our live stream.
Sorry,
It's a stream of liveness.
This is the joy of doing things live. I had the dryer going. So.
And at home, of all places, to be talking about sexy stuff.
Yeah, that's the plan. So
yes.
Everybody's at home.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's doing anything.
No.
But we're all trying to figure out what we should do and how we should do it, and just get day to day and try to be sexy, even though we're pretty much wearing sweat
yoga pants. No, my dress up is yoga pants. Thank you very much. When I dress down, it's sweats.
Okay.
Or pajama bottoms. But you are too, so it's okay.
Right. So we don't know if this is going to be a good idea. This could be a terrible, terrible idea. Because
we're going live.
going live because we just don't know what people are going to be asking.
Yeah.
But we're kind of open to it. We just figured this would be fun, and we have our drinks.
Yes.
So
cheers.
Yeah, absolutely. So we figure that the more that we drink, the more our answers will be more open.
Are we ever closed with our answers?
No, I don't think we are. No. But even more so after a couple of days. So, what are you drinking?
I'm actually okay. So confession time. I'm running low on wine, so I'm raiding the rest of our liquor cabinet from just other stuff that I have. And I was kind of getting tired of the same old. And my dad likes gin. And so I always have gin on hand, gin and tonic for him for when he comes out. And I was like, well, I've got a big old bottle of gin. I got a big old unopened bottle of tonic. I got some lemons. So let's try it. And you know what? I really like it.
And then I can tell you've been drinking it because a couple of things. First of all, it says, of course, I drink like a fish. I am a mermaid. Right. But also, there's after one sip, there's already like a bunch of lipstick on it. So
yeah,
it's you.
Okay.
Yeah, you have that effect on glasses.
Okay.
Okay. And see, we've got gin and tonic drinkers already.
Yes. Cheers.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And now mine here. Now I've got my tiki drink because I figure I'm a big tiki fan, and I just love ridiculous cups and very, very fruity drinks. And
sorry, said fruity drinks, and I don't know. He likes girly drinks. He does.
Yeah, I do. I do. And it's.
You actually have like a good theory on ordering the girly drinks, like when we're out at a club or a party or whatever.
That's right. This is something I tell guys all the time. Okay, so guys always drink beer. They just always drink beer. And beer is a very boring drink. You might like it. It might taste good, all that kind of stuff. But actually, from the perspective of if you're dating, whether you're single or you're doing lifestyle stuff, anything like that at all, when you're at a restaurant, you have a drink like this with the umbrellas and the little things that are coming out of it, I guarantee you, a woman is going to come up to you and go, "Oh my God, what are you drinking?" That it happens every single time, everywhere we go.
It's an icebreaker.
Yeah, and it starts a conversation, and that's right. Yeah, see, nothing wrong with the really girly drink or a really sweet wine. That's
yes.
Yeah, you know me.
Well, this one adds sugar to his wine, so I don't know about that. He should not be allowed to drink wine.
First of all, adding sugar to wine. Okay.
Disgusting. I can't even. I'm embarrassed to have even admitted that.
No, I thought of this like a year ago, and I said, "This is genius." Because people add sugar to coffee, and suddenly that's okay. Add sugar to tea, and that's okay. It's like, why can't you do that to wine? And so I told everybody about it, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's disgusting! How dare you? The wine was made a certain way." And and I said, "You know what? I'm going to try it." And so I tried it, and it was amazing. And then I Googled it, and there was that's people have been doing that for centuries. Yeah. They add sugar to wine.
No, the winemakers do.
Yeah.
You don't do it aftermarket. He's going to be at a restaurant with his packets of Splenda, putting in 4 packets of Splenda in his drink,
so
in his wine.
Alpha says, "Just get Manischewitz."
No.
Funny story.
Oh my gosh.
I did that once. I said I really want a sweet wine, and I'm like, I remember Manischewitz from when I was a kid. That was a wine that I would drink when I was allowed to for religious stuff, and I loved it. And then growing up, so I'm like, we're like 20 some odd years old, and I'm like, you got to try Manischewitz. It's so good. Or 21. Sorry, 21. Yeah. And she's like, this is disgusting wine, and I'm like,
it's
no.
like grape juice.
Yeah,
it's so
exactly.
No.
Well, there are people that are coming into that they wouldn't mind spending quarantine with you.
Aw, that's nice.
Yeah, no, it's actually been kind of
It's
nice.
because I make fun drinks. Huh?
Oh yes, I didn't even see what this was.
Yeah.
This is a you made it.
Well, let's call it a Boobie Loco. I don't know. I just made it up.
Okay, she made it up. She designed this drink.
Yeah, it's coconut rum, pineapple juice, fresh squeezed orange juice, that coconut stuff that you squeeze into the drink,
Right.
And a banana and a little bit of milk.
Okay.
I just threw, and some homemade grenadine. I just threw it all
Perfect.
in there.
Yeah, she homemade grenadine today. So
yeah,
that's
I made
kinda,
homemade grenadine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there is a question here that says, "Have you?" No, so where to go? Oh, so would Bianca approach a guy at a swing club that had a girly drink?
I think I'd be more apt to approach a guy with a beer.
You just blew my theory out of the water. Don't say that.
Only because I don't drink girly drinks. And so if someone had interesting, like, looked like a good scotch or bourbon or beer, it's funny. We'll take photos of our pictures side by side, or of our drinks side by side at a restaurant, and there's the big girly fancy one, and then bourbon straight or a beer or whatever, and it's always like, guess whose is whose. So I don't think I would approach someone that had a girly drink unless I just thought of it.
Me too.
I might, because I might be like, oh my gosh, what are you drinking? My husband would love that.
See, that's not what I was thinking you were going to say.
And then you'd probably say, here, would you like a sip? And I'd say no, because it's probably too sugary, too fruity, and too sweet for my taste. Mm-hmm. But I could get the recipe for him.
Sure. Thank you.
I'd be like, hey, here, meet my husband. He'll try it. Wait, this is backfiring on all you guys right now, isn't it?
I was going to say, if the guy had a cup that said something about mermaids on it, see, you'd go up to that.
I would. Yeah.
See, so it's not necessarily about the drink, it's about the cup. Because
but that's true. Because I could go up to you and be like, oh my God, I love your cup. That's so cute. You have a mermaid on your cup. And I kind of wonder why you have a mermaid on your cup, though. But
because he wanted you to come over and say hello.
Okay.
Right. You know, we've commented many times over the years that, like, you love a guy in a tuxedo, right? And we've been at Club Sapphire, and there's been guys that have come up to you in tuxedos that have said, I wore this because I knew you were going to be here.
Yes.
And it's like, no, same thing. So if you happen to be at Club Sapphire at some point and you happen to own a mermaid cup, then just go like this and carry
with your tuxedo.
With your These are the tricks to get her into the back.
It's that easy?
You tell me.
I mean, that seems kind of easy.
And then you have a couple of drinks.
I feel like it should be a little more work than that.
So we are open to questions that you might have about the lifestyle, anything that you might think and want to know about.
Questions about us, the lifestyle, the club, whatever's on your mind. Yeah,
we figure there's going to be people from all over the place that have, like, if they've been in lifestyle for a long time, or if they're brand new, or they're dipping their toes in, or they're just thinking about it. A lot of people do watch our videos from all walks of life, and so we just kind of figured we'd answer questions. But if you don't know who we are, if you just kind of found us by looking at the YouTube lives and seeing what's out there, so we are both what's called in lifestyle.
What? We are?
Yeah.
What?
That's swinging to you layman. Yes, it still exists. Yes, it's actually a very large percentage of the population does
great
open relationship things.
And here's the thing: you don't have to have a whole bunch of gold chains and a hairy chest and all that kind of stuff. So
that's right. Even though you're drinking the bourbon, the stuff that makes your chest hairy.
I love hairy chest bourbon. Yeah.
She's trying to get her chest hairy so people will pay attention to it. No one ever notices it. So
it'd be a nice distraction. Some hair right here. Oh my gosh, no. Ew.
Halloween's coming. I don't know how you can.
Oh my gosh. That would be so funny for Halloween, like the quarantine outfit.
Sexy quarantine.
Sexy quarantine outfit.
So when the club reopens, that should be the first party.
Oh my gosh, sexy quarantine. Like, don't make us all rush to get to the beauty salon all at once. Like, let's just get a party and it's okay that our nails are done.
You know, it's funny, someone actually had posted on Facebook today, like there's a meme going around of like the proper way to wear a face mask, and it's women in like their underwear with just a face mask.
That's a thing? That like was an actual video?
It was a meme. It was a meme going around. Like they're basically showing, but they have the mask on, but it's basically a lingerie. It's a woman saying, "Hey, look at me."
So my next boudoir shoot, I should wear a mask.
Love
That's so hot. We're gonna put it above our bed. I'll be like, "Rawr."
That sounds like a great idea.
No.
Yeah. Wow. So well, I guess, do we want to start with just kind of how we got into this whole thing?
Well,
like,
we should probably answer
Are there
a couple
questions?
of these questions.
Are there questions? Okay, someone asked if we've ever come out to South Florida, Trapeze, Fort Lauderdale. So we've been to Florida. We have not been to Trapeze. However, a couple things when it comes to Florida. We do go on lifestyle cruises. Hopefully they'll still have them. We don't know, but we're crossing our fingers because we
are booked for one.
We are booked for one, but it's November of 21. So
Matt and I are so last minute travelers usually. Like, we're getting better about it, but we're usually like, oh yeah, we should go on that trip, and it's like 2 days from now kind of thing. And we are getting much better about pre-planning and all that kind of stuff and planning our calendar out and everything. But we haven't been on a cruise in so long because we are just like, oh yeah, we'll go, we'll get to it, and then they sell out. So we actually did book the 2021 cruise, and so hopefully it'll still happen.
I'm not too concerned. I'm not too concerned. But yeah, so we've been on 6 lifestyle cruises over the last 8 years, and they always go out of Florida. I think, every one of them's gone out of Florida, except for out of LA. There's been one.
Oh yeah, there was
one. So we'll be back. We do also go to Hedonism every March. Club Sapphire actually has a big group of people that go for the Miss No swimsuit contest that happens. We always have a contestant there. I think we've done 4 years in a row there, and so hopefully we'll be back in next March.
Yes.
And there's usually a competitor from Trapeze Fort Lauderdale and Trapeze Atlanta, which, if you're not familiar with those places, they are very famous lifestyle clubs as well.
But we've never actually had the time when we're out there to do that. Although we should really put that on our to-do list and make that happen in 21 when we're there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll put that on our to-do list. So maybe you should like email us like things that we need to know about the club.
Sure. Well, we have heard good things about them, about both places. So they're pretty world famous.
Yeah. We keep meaning to get out there. We just
But we've actually had no reason to ever go to Atlanta. So more than what's in it. I think the Coca-Cola plant's in Atlanta.
I don't drink Coca-Cola. Doesn't mean no good. What else?
Let's see. So these are the things I learned from an episode of Futurama years ago. So that when they went to the lost city of Atlanta, I learned that there's a Coca-Cola plant, and that's a big Delta hub. It's a big Delta hub. So we have been to to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So you learned something new this evening.
That's helpful.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So we have not been, but it is on our list. Wrapping that up.
Yeah.
And I do agree. I think there will be a lot of Tiger King outfits this Halloween. We actually talked about it.
Tiger King. Okay.
Carol Baskin.
Okay. Stop right there. Okay, because that's on everybody's mind. Okay, is Tiger King. Nobody cares about anything else, but the Tiger King is what everybody's talking about. Okay, if you haven't watched the show, I will not ruin it for you. But there are a couple of lifestyle people on that show. A couple of swingers, and right when they came on, it was like, yep, they are just, you could just tell from their personalities. But what was funny is if you watch the final episode, which is when Joel McHale, an actor, is interviewing them from his living room, and he's going from person to person, talking to them. He interviews them, and the question that he asks is, he says, "So everybody wants to know about your live-in nanny that you have," and the girl immediately goes, "Yeah, she's hot." Which is It's like, that is such a lifestyle answer. It's like, well, it had nothing to do with how good of a nanny she is with her kids. Or like, it's like, oh yeah, she's hot. And it was the girl who said that. It was the wife who said that. So I just thought that was so funny because it's like, yeah, that's.
Hopefully she's hot and she actually minds the baby.
Yeah. Details. But she's hot. So, give a little bit of leeway there. But yeah.
Right.
So. All right, what else we got? Okay, so we had someone who asked, could you two make a video about single guys who want to find single women in the lifestyle to date on sites and at clubs? Also, how does a single guy approach couples and singles on clubs and sites? Okay, so
do you want to be interviewed for this?
Fairly lengthy question, but it is one that we actually do get quite a bit, and we actually have a few videos. If you go back through Club Sapphire's history, there's, we've for Club Sapphire, we've done probably, I think we're up at the 80 video mark, and then we have another few dozen that we've done elsewhere. And we've talked about this a couple times in the past. We actually even had an interview on one of the Club Sapphire videos with Nick, who was a single gentleman for many years and was an extremely successful single gentleman.
Well, he's now married.
He's now married, but he was there are two people I know that are like legends in the single guy world, and he's one of them. Because that guy, man, he did very well for himself.
Yes.
And the other guy I think I brought up recently that I was having a conversation with him where he had like a date on one of these videos where he had like 7 play dates one night. Yeah. And it was, he couldn't figure out who to have sex with. It's like, that is a swinger problem. Poor gentleman. So yeah. But being a guy, being a single guy is it's kind of tricky thing to explain, because it's very different being a single guy in lifestyle compared to being a single guy in the vanilla world. A lot of guys want to be single guys in the lifestyle because they look at it and they tend to go, oh, and this is absolutely wrong, but this is their thinking that they have generally when they're walking into it, is like, oh, if I go to this place or if I go to meet some swingers, I'm going to meet a bunch of easy women. Okay, I'm going to meet a bunch of wives that I don't have to do very much, and they're going to want to have sex with me because I'm there. Right. That is primarily the absolutely wrong attitude to have. Yeah. People who have that thought process are going to have a bad time. Well,
anybody, single or not. I mean, so you can't walk. You're not guaranteed a leg.
If you walked in there and you're wearing yon outfit, and you're and you
grandpa.
Sorry, I didn't have another set there. Yeah, my language turns to Old English after I've had too many of these, apparently. And you said, I wish someone would have sex with me.
That happens every time I go.
Well, that's my point. So yes, So that's you can't say nobody. You can't say that. But no, okay. I could argue. One could argue if you went up to a couple and said that, and the couple was brand new, they might be like, "Oh gosh, we'd love to, but we only play with couples," for example, and then you'd be out of luck.
Yeah, because no couple wants a unicorn.
Yeah, well, right. Okay.
Just shot that out.
Yeah, also a bad example. Anyway, back to what we were saying. So being a single guy, it's like when you go to a club, if that's the direction that you go, for example, like at Club Sapphire, you have to go on a Wednesday night beforehand before you can go to a big Friday or Saturday night party to do the introductions where they talk to you and they kind of explain, because rules are very different than in the regular dating world.
Right.
And then after you do that, then you can be around that kind of the lifestyle people, and then come to a Friday or Saturday where they're a very large party. And I see a lot of guys tend to act like they do at a vanilla bar, for example. So if I'm talking to you at a vanilla bar,
with a girly drink.
Doesn't matter. Yes. And I'm hitting on you. And some other guy comes along and sees that I'm hitting on you. He would actually try to get in the way, move us apart, and kind of push me out of that situation so that he could hit on you. Okay. People do that. Single guys tend to do that in lifestyle clubs. And it is the worst thing that you can possibly do, because you just pushed away the husband or the significant other of this woman that you're hitting on. And the odds of you actually having any sort of success at that are practically zero, because you just offended the husband. And he, no matter how attractive the wife might be to you, the husband's going to be like, wow, that guy was a jerk.
Really want to think of the husband as the gatekeeper, right? I mean, ultimately the woman is going to get final say as to whether she wants to go to the back with you. But the partner who she's with, her husband, significant other, whoever it is, boyfriend, you need to respect him. And like for me, we've had times before where someone would come up, he would leave to go get a snack or something, and I'd be standing by myself, and then all of a sudden several single guys are talking to me, and he, after he's done laughing about that, taking his time because I'm like a deer in headlights. Then when he comes over, they're not involving him in the conversation and trying to talk to him, and it's an immediate turnoff for both of us. That no matter who you are, I'm probably not going to be like, I need to go to the back, because I'm not like, you need to show him some respect as well in order to want to take me to the back. And he needs to know that I'm going to be safe and taken care of in all the ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what we do tell single gentlemen all the time, more than anything else, is you really have to be personable. It's not about, and this is also for couples that are brand new, that have this mindset of, I'm going to go and I'm going to get laid immediately. It's not, that's just not the way it works. Although that happens, of course,
right.
More often than not, though, people have to see, especially women, that you're not a creep. Okay. Yeah. And you could be the hottest guy in the world, but if you act creepy or you do something creepy, she's immediately turned off. And most women are, no matter how hot the guy is. And so if you go and you act friendly and you have a good conversation with both the man and the woman, you're just a friendly guy having a conversation and flirting as well, that the signs are there. And if she is okay playing with you without her husband or boyfriend, that's fine. If they be aware that sometimes they might want to have a threesome and you might have to be okay with that. Doesn't mean you're going to cross swords.
Unless he wants to.
Unless that's your thing. And
talk about your rules before you go back there.
But when we first got in the lifestyle, as most couples do, they are always like, we want to find a unicorn. Okay, that's the goal of many, many new couples, is I want to find a woman that we can have a threesome with, and that you, as a bisexual woman, can have bisexual time with, and the three of us can have a great old time. And realistically, that is very difficult to find, especially when you're new. So what we ended up doing was actually looking, after we didn't have success finding unicorn for a while, was actually looking towards what couple is okay playing separately. Because if you can find a wife who has a what's the ticket? The hall pass. If you have a wife if there's a wife who has a hall pass, then she'll gladly go play with you or go play with you as a couple. So it really just kind of boils down to just, be as friendly and as nice as you can.
And that's the thing about the lifestyle too. A lot of us get into it. You start off getting into it for the sex, right? And you're like gung-ho sex, fuck, right? But then you take a step back and you take a breath and you're like, the people are really cool. And so for the most part, you want friendships. We all want to have friends, and we want to do things with you guys on the weekends and, all that kind of stuff, whether it's sex or not. So having that relationship where you can actually have a good conversation is so important to most people in the lifestyle. And yeah, there are absolutely people out there that just want to notch bedposts, and that's their thing, and that's totally fine. But a lot of people really want to make a friend and a friend that they can fuck.
Sure.
So yeah.
So someone asked, how did we meet and how did we bring up swinging? Okay, two very different questions.
Very different questions. Okay. Yeah. Someone said I had a nice laugh though. Thank you.
Someone also said you have a nice everything else.
They
want to see. They want to see if you can. Can you stand up?
I can't because I'm as short as the chair. Like we're sitting on high chairs.
It's funny because so as everyone right now has like their kids at home with them. Yeah. So we have a kid in college and we have another one in high school, and they're here, and it's how do we do these videos? And so we're in our bedroom and we close the door. We're on the other side of the house, but we're like in our bedroom where there's like no room for anything. So we just found a table with chairs.
So I could stand up, but you won't see anything. It's like maybe a little kind of.
That's perfect.
I was going to wear sweats under this, but I had a feeling that question would come up, and I should probably take the sweats off.
Probably.
I thought, like you hear about like news anchor people that wear like their suit on top and then like underwear or nothing on bottom. I thought, I'll do that, but it'll be sweats instead of just panties.
Sure.
So yeah. Anyways, where were we? How did we meet?
We met in college. So we've
Yeah.
actually been together now. Let's see, 25 years. It'll be 25 years in
August.
Like
No.
our first date was March, so we've technically been dating at least for 25 years.
Our wedding anniversary is in a couple days.
Yes, it is.
In a couple days. I promise you, it's in a couple days.
Okay, good. All the days
There's
come out
no
together.
time. I actually yesterday had to ask Google what day it was because I had no idea. I woke up and I'm like, oh man, I slept in really late. And then I was like, what day is it? And then it said Saturday, and I was like, oh, sleeping in late's no problem on a Saturday.
Okay, so we had been together for let's see. So we've now been in the lifestyle for 8.5 years.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'd been together for quite some time at that point, and at what? So I guess our story was we were spicing things up. Okay, we were having sex one day, and out of nowhere, she starts talking dirty to me and telling me these sexy stories as we're having sex.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
I have to correct you.
Correct me.
Because the story is better than that.
Oh.
Because that I feel like this was like me moment. Like, I'm awesome.
Give it to me.
Because all I did was sit on top of him and tell him the story. I did not touch him. And I got him to come.
Really?
You don't remember this?
Well, no, I remember you.
I'm so insulted.
No, I remember you've told that story that like at some point you were able to get me to come without doing anything.
Yes.
But it was at this time.
Yes, it
Oh, that's
was.
so fascinating. I did not know that. Oh.
Yes, it was.
Oh, well, that's how much apparently I was into the idea of having another woman join us. So she starts telling this story about having another woman in bed with us or something like that, and this just playful story. And I apparently liked that a lot. And so we just
I'm a good storyteller.
And then I feel like the next day, like just in conversation, I just kind of dipped my toes in there. Like, how would you feel about that?
No, that's wrong.
I'm just gonna go. You could just do this yourself.
No, don't you remember? You asked me. It was late one night, and we were just hanging out, not really doing anything. And you asked me if I would want to get online and give you a blowjob.
I wasn't there yet. I don't
remember the other part. Okay, go ahead. I'll just leave.
This is so funny. We totally don't remember. We're telling two different stories. Was that you? I don't remember. So then we for whatever reason because I don't remember, neither one of us remembers the beginning of the story. We were we started we said, hey, let's start out with having sex online, and some people can watch. So we went on.
I'm sorry, I just got distracted. That was it F.U. Tom Brady? They have the same anniversary as us.
Yes, they do.
It's the same day.
Yeah, April 25th. So we were having sex online. We went to, let's see, this would have been Adult Friend Finder at the time, I think it was. And they had this thing where you could just put a video on. And so she's like, don't put my face in it.
From here to here. That's it. That's all they can see. Seriously.
So she's like, give me a blowjob on there, right? And it goes on for, I don't know, 10 whatever minutes, something like that. And we had 2,000 people watching us. And we're immediately afterward, I go, wow, we need to monetize this somehow.
Well, not yet, because the next time, because we did it 3 times before we had that conversation. The second time, I let you video from here to here. And the third time, we had sex, but only doggy style, and you couldn't show my face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So...
And that time we had a lot of people watching, and it kept breaking down the internet.
Yeah, you have that effect on people. So we don't even know if people are watching us right now because you're so hot. Yeah. Anyway, so we started to get into online doing that, and then she had her boobs done. Okay, and I was very proud of them, as she was as well.
He was very proud.
I'm still very. Yeah. Okay. Got distracted. And so she had them done, and then we were like, hey, let's go on a trip without the kids to an adult resort, where you can actually be topless. Would you be topless? And she's like,
I said, I don't know. I really don't. I wouldn't want to be pushed into it. I don't think I would. It depends on how many cocktails I have. Maybe, I don't know. Probably not. Don't get your hopes up.
And how long after we got there and you got in the pool were you totally naked?
Totally naked, like maybe 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Yeah. So she got comfortable. And they had
It was the topless only pool, but I was top and bottomless.
Yeah. So they had a contest there one night. This was at Temptations in Cancun, by the way. And they had a contest for pole dancing, like a sexy wine.
Well, it was a lingerie contest
Yeah.
that I won and got into the finals.
Right.
And then the finals, the last 5 people had to pole dance.
Yeah. So she pole danced, but she had been pole dancing for years at that point. She taught.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm telling the story, even if I'm exaggerating considerably, I'm making you sound better, probably. And so she wins this pole dance competition, and immediately afterward, this other couple comes up to us, and they're an English couple, and the other woman is like, "You obviously take pole dancing classes, and I take pole dancing classes," and so of course they hit it off, and they're talking for like an hour, and in the meantime, the husband and I are just kind of, it's fine, and then at one point he goes, "So what are you guys like into?" We're like, I don't know, we're kind of here. We're here, trying to see if maybe we might be able to get something else going on. She's never been with another woman before. She'd like to do that. And then the guy's like, oh, okay. And then he goes over to his wife and he like goes, and she goes, and I knew exactly what he had asked her. And so a few minutes later, he's like, yeah, so if you'd like, we can go up to your room and we'll let the wives play. And Bianca's like, yeah, because she hit it off with the other woman, and I'm like, cool. So we go up to our room to get ready. They said they're going to be there in like 10 minutes. And in the meantime, I say to Bianca, because I felt really comfortable with the guy, I said, if you want to do anything with the guy, you're welcome to. And we had never talked about that before. It had never really come up. It had always been about another woman. But I felt so comfortable, and so did you, with them as a couple, that they came up to our room, and then the girls went at it for like an hour. And you were a trooper, and you took right to it like she's been doing it her whole life. And then at some point, the other wife was like, you could tell the husbands have blue balls going on. We invite them over, and then invited us over, and then our spouses like sucked us off, and then we went the other direction, like gave oral, and then we swapped, and then we had orally swapped that night. And it was amazing. And they left our room, and it wasn't 10 seconds later that we looked at each other and we said, we're swingers, and we high-fived each other. Literally high-fived each other. It was very exciting. So
yes. Next morning, this one's on the internet checking out places to go swing in our neck of the woods. He was totally into it. Like we jumped in both feet, just like deep end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we were home that long before we were going to parties.
That's right. No,
it wasn't that long. It was like 2 weeks before we got invited to our first party.
And our very first full swap, which is actually penis and vagina sex with the other couple, if you don't know what that means. It was at a Club Sapphire event, actually. They used to have hotel events before the club opened, and this was...
and that was where we also met another couple that we didn't even realize until somewhat recently, that like we were leaving after having sex. We were like, oh, that was awesome. Like we had sex, let's go to Denny's, because that's what you do. and then this other couple pulls us out on the dance floor and starts making out with us, and we were like, yeah, we're done. We didn't know you could do it again.
That's right. Because we're all...
It didn't even occur to us that, wait, we could go back and another couple? Like, I can't believe that didn't occur to us. Shame on us.
Well, I think it was one of those things. Because some of the things you don't hear about.
Here's the thing, though. At the time, there is no information out there whatsoever on the lifestyle. Anything that was out there was such old information and wrong information, and so you didn't know what to do. You didn't know, we didn't know like what the rules were. Like, what can you talk to people about? Like, how do you talk to people? How do you like get with people? Like, what are the rules? And so we very quickly found the need to bring this out there. And had we had us telling us what to do, we might have known that we could go back with that second couple.
That's right.
So I'm here to tell you right now, if you get a second offer, take it.
Well, see, now it might have also been like, because we didn't know anything about these types of things, as far as like we were all sweaty and we had sex smells on us.
Well, but we
could have showered.
Okay, so what you do is you say, well, we just fucked another couple. Can we borrow your shower?
Oh, well, sure, that works too. Or we showered after the
I'm just letting the people know that it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Just clean up. of course, clean up, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like if we were to go up to a couple and be like, hey, you should come back to our room, and they said to us, yeah, we need a minute to shower, but we don't have a room. I'd be like, get in our shower right now, and I'll maybe wash your cock for you. Like, we can turn it into foreplay. Why not?
That's right. You just reminded me when we were at a New Year's party, and we had a foursome in a shower, and you broke the bat. What was it? The soap the soap holder thing in the hotel. Like you stepped on it. Like you put.
Well, I had my foot up on it, and I guess stuff happened.
Like, how do you explain that?
I don't think we did explain it. I think we
got
just
out
left
there.
it in the shower. We're like, wasn't our room.
That's right. It was their room. They had the bill.
No, but they didn't get charged for it. We asked them later.
Okay,
like,
good.
We'll pay for half.
Okay, so
it was good sex.
It was
obviously.
sure. Okay, so that's good. You put a monetary value on your sex. That's good.
No, I'm just trying to pitch in.
No, I do.
Seems like the nice thing to do.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. Someone had asked if we've ever played with other ethnicities.
We have.
Yep, we have.
Yeah.
And
I don't see color.
Yeah.
Well, like if for me, it really.
It's about
I don't have like a checklist of what I want or what I need. Like, it's all about personality. And if you have the right personality and turn me on, then I don't care what you look like.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. As far as, well, I mean, it's not even really about ethnicity or anything like that. It's about just the personality, because we've talked many times about the fact that if the guy could be the hottest guy in the world to you, but if his personality is terrible, you're instantly turned off. Yeah. And the other way around, where the guy might not be conventionally attractive, but his personality just is so magnetic that you're just like, I absolutely would.
Well, early on when we were doing a lot of or he was doing a lot of like the online looking for dates or whatever, he could never figure me out. Like he would be like, oh, this guy looks hot, I guess. What do you think? And I go over and maybe I'd look at his pictures or read the profile or whatever. I don't know. And I'd be like, no. So for me, it's really hard to do online dating where you just look at a picture and decide, okay, we'll go on a date with you. Because for me, it's so much about personality and do we connect and do we click? It really is not about looks at all for me. I mean, there's obviously you want to be attracted to someone as well. But for me, the personality goes so far.
Well, it's interesting too, because we've brought up many times about it's really how the person presents himself, both the man and the women. Yeah. Oftentimes you'll see, whether it's at clubs or online or something like that they'll be like, they focus so much on the woman's outfit. For example, it's sexy schoolgirl night, for example, which is of course my favorite. But what happens is all the women dress up like schoolgirls and it's super hot, and the guys are just wearing regular clothes.
Some guys will dress up. They'll find a way to dress up.
Some of them will. Yeah. Some of them will, but oftentimes they just don't even think about that. And I'm not talking about necessarily being in theme, but like, for example, it was probably, 3-4 years ago that I started to like wear ties.
Yeah.
And I'd start to wear a suit and tie or whatever it might be at the club, like every single time. And I know, well, you see the smile on her face. That's just something that turns her on, but also other women as well. Yeah. And I suddenly got more women that were actually, you could tell where the pheromones were flying because of that. Yeah. Well, I had just asked you actually a week or two ago, as I remember that I said, what is the sexiest job a guy could have? Because I assumed that you were going to have just the generic answer that I always thought women answer, which is fireman. Yeah. And it wasn't that at all. And it was actually, you were going towards a guy in a suit.
Yes.
And I thought that was fascinating, because I know you like guys in suits, but I didn't realize that like was your ideal as far as a sexy job, as a guy in a suit. Yeah. So, unfortunately, I work at home, but I'm going to wear a suit now every day to go upstairs and sit on the computer.
In pajamas all day long. That's okay. I'm in my yoga pants all day long right now.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, but yeah, I think that when you go to a club or a bar or whatever, you're meeting someone in the lifestyle. Like this is a date. This is you're trying to present yourself. And I know I'm not the only woman who thinks that a well-dressed man is incredibly sexy. And I've noticed a lot more when we go to the club and that a lot more of the men are dressing up and wearing ties and that kind of stuff, which I just think is fantastic because you know what? We spend how much time getting ready to go, curling our hair and doing our like all the everything. And it like takes you like 5 minutes to put on a button-down shirt and a pair of jeans. It's like spend a little bit more time on your grooming, on your outfit, on picking your outfit. Have your significant other help choose a tie. I think that's sexy. That's sexy foreplay.
And Mark says, "Okay, a suit with a mermaid cup."
Oh my gosh! I thought you were gonna say a mermaid tie at first. Find a mermaid tie. Yes, a suit with a mermaid cup. Oh, you lost your umbrella.
That's all right.
But I think it's only fair that the amount of time and money that women spend on their outfits to go out. I think the men should too. And for me to go to a club and if you're not putting it all out there, like if you're just wearing like a polo shirt and a pair of jeans or a t-shirt and jeans, I don't know. I'm probably not going to be as interested. And I'm not every woman, so do what makes you feel most comfortable, and that's the number one thing too, right? You want to feel comfortable, but look good. Like don't wear an old shaggy t-shirt and
ripped
jeans that you wore in the garden yesterday or this morning. Like,
right.
Make an effort.
Yeah, and and places like Sapphire, they have dress codes,
right?
And some clubs are more strict than others, but it usually doesn't even really come up very much. I mean, where they have to enforce those because people just kind of know. It's like you having the mindset of, okay, my goal is to get laid. I might not actually do that, whatever. It's not, so I'm not going to focus on that. But when it comes down to it, that's really why you're going. Yeah. So you want to look as good as you can because you want people attracted to you.
Well, and I think like a club needs to have like some sort of like happy medium, right? I do think it's so important that whatever you wear, you're comfortable in because you're going to be showing your best part of yourself if you're comfortable, man or woman, right? As long as you feel like you got it and you feel good, you feel like what you're wearing, you feel really good in, your personality is gonna shine through, right? So I think the clubs have the right idea having some sort of a loose dress code. However, like when we were in Paris, they had strict dress codes where like they would look at you top to bottom and make sure that you were in the exact right outfit. They turned away young, hot couples at one club because they weren't wearing the right shoes or the right clothes or whatever. And that's their club and that's their decision and that's fine, but it feels a little stuffy. But then on the other hand, I mean, I can play devil's advocate though, because have you seen the shoes I wear? I mean, like, fuck you, put on some nice shoes. And I will say, shoes are something I do look at.
Oh.
Yeah. So all that said,
wow, you probably need to buy me some shoes.
Yes, I really should.
I don't think I dress up. I dress nice when we go there, but I have generic black shoes, and that's always just kind of been what I do. But I just don't really think about it.
No, I do. I will look at a man's shoes.
So, Baby Blue asks, do people arrive at the club for special nights already in costume, or is it customary to bring with them and change there?
That depends for everybody. So for us, sometimes depending on what I'm wearing, if there's a theme, sometimes I'll wear it out the door. Sometimes I'll take it with me and we'll change when we get there. Club Sapphire has showers, lockers to keep your stuff in, locker rooms, that kind of stuff. So you can get ready there. I think it just depends on what you're wearing. For Matt, he'll wear his outfit, and if he's wearing a suit jacket, like if he's got a tuxedo on or something, he'll just hang that up in the back. But for me, sometimes it's difficult to get out of the house with like less than nothing on. I do.
You have your like jacket.
I have my jacket that I wear, my big, like I'm a private eye invest, PI jacket that I, and I try to avoid the kids on the way out the door, and then the neighbors are like, oh, it's like 99 degrees outside and she's got that big old jacket on. whatever. So sometimes they will change when I get there. More often than not, though, I go the opposite way. I wear what I'm wearing there, and then I have a change of clothes for the ride home that's way more comfortable.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I usually forget that change of clothes. So I'm like if I was already playing with someone, I'm gonna like, I gotta put my uncomfortable dress shirt back on. It's like, why didn't I bring a t-shirt and shorts for like just getting out of there and going home?
So I think it just depends on the theme and how, like, we recently, there was a Mermaid and Seaman. We hosted a party at Club Sapphire, and of course it was mermaids. I wore my costume there because I had the whole makeup and long hair and all that kind of stuff. So I just wore it there. But my kids don't really think too much of mom dressing up as a mermaid, so they were like, whatever, mom.
It's pretty normal.
I did have the one top on, though, that did not show my nipples, and then I changed out of that one and put the one that does show my nipples a little bit when we got to the club. So I did do a little bit of a change.
Yeah, and actually a lot of women, I'll see, it's a mixed bag, but there are actually quite a few women I know that will actually bring 3 or 4 outfits for the evening. They'll come in an outfit and then they'll change into something that's sexy, but quite a bit like this, this, and then like you'll see them an hour later and they're a completely different outfit, and then later they're like in just a bra and panties, and then maybe panties and pasties, and it just goes down through the night, and then suddenly it's a totally different outfit, and it's I love it from a guy's perspective, where it's like I'm watching these women just like sexy outfit after sexy outfit after. It's like one of my favorite things to do is to just see like I'm like a kid in a candy store, sex or not. Right?
And then he gets stuck with me where I'm like, you get what you get.
Yeah.
I am not so high maintenance. I am bringing 4 outfits. I'm sorry. You get 1 outfit and done. And then you get the sweats on the way home. But I'll change in the car for you.
Oh, you have done that many times.
I do that all the time.
But it's late enough at night and nobody sees you, just naked in the car.
Just topless sitting there, like, oh.
So Care Bear 02 says, "Are you a brat?"
Am I a brat? No. What?
Are you a brat?
I mean, no.
Wow, you're not going to expand on that?
I mean, I guess I've been told I am a brat. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like to admit it.
Yeah. So yes would be the answer to that when they say no. Yeah, you're pretty bratty, but it's interesting because we talk about this often, where it's interesting that lifestyle sex, swinger sex, is, except for the fact that there might be like a dozen people in an orgy, the sex is usually fairly vanilla. I mean, if you actually look at the sex itself, where it's just kind of, I mean, yeah, people might do anal or whatever, but that's usually a little further along.
Well, it depends on the night.
You're right. Yeah, whatever. But I mean, but I mean, most people that you talk to, they're like, yeah, we met a couple, we had sex. But if you actually asked them about sex, it was like, yeah, we did 3 or 4 positions, like you do, and there you go, and that. But we had a great time. So the sex itself is actually very vanilla. However, the kink and BDSM worlds, they overlap into the lifestyle, but not necessarily. So, like, we know a lot of people in the lifestyle that are no kink, no BDSM. They're just like, no, thank you. And we know a lot of people in the BDSM world that are like swingers, and they butt heads. They just don't agree with each other. But then there's a lot of overlap. It's the same type of thing as in the polyamorous world, where there's a lot of swingers that are like, no, I don't want to actually have a relationship with these other people, and I just want to have sex. And then you have polyamorous people that are like, swingers, no, I don't like to just have sex and not actually have a connection with them. But there's a lot of overlap. So it just kind of depends on the individual. But what's nice is you can kind of do whatever you want.
And whatever you want for that day. Yeah. I am not really into BDSM, but maybe there's one day, like we were somewhere once, Whistler, and they had a room, and they had a cross in there, and
St. Andrew's cross.
Yeah, I let him hook me up and flog me, which is rare for me because I really have to trust you, and I didn't know this person at all. So I expressed my just be gentle, be nice. Like, I don't know you. And he was very, very kind, very sweet, with it and everything. And it was more of just, okay, that's great. I'm done. It wasn't the scene that I would have necessarily wanted.
Okay.
I can tend to be shy sometimes and more private. And so having all these people in there watching me get flogged, all I think about is all those other people. I stop thinking about what I'm doing and what I'm receiving and the pleasure and all that kind of stuff. So for me, sometimes I'm more of a private person, whereas I do prefer like separate room, or like as opposed to being in a big room with everybody. I mean, I like that. There's a time and a place, absolutely, to have like everybody all over, or just if you're in one bed and there's people all over, yes, there's a time and place for that. But I definitely do have a better time, me personally, when I have more one-on-one time with a person and I don't feel like everybody is like, I'm having to put on a show or everybody's watching me, or
which is interesting because early on we did that.
And maybe that's why I don't like it anymore.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
I don't know. I just threw that out there.
We just talk about stuff.
Well, I know, we just spitball.
Because early, well, like we said earlier, we started out, it being entertaining for lots of people online, and it was super hot and we enjoyed it quite thoroughly. And then when we got into lifestyle, we used to go to a club down in Portland before Sapphire opened, and it was more of a nightclub. Like there was a lot of dancing. People didn't particularly play with other people. They just like to play with their spouse and just kind of keep separate, but everybody's in that same sexual area. And we used to all the time, whenever we go there and we didn't meet a couple, we'd go, they had this big bed that was like in front of a bar, and there was just like there were like 100 people standing there, and we would just go have sex on it. And people would afterward, people were like, "You're really good."
I got like fist bumps.
You got fist
and
bumps.
High fives. It's just like, thanks.
Yeah, you don't get fist bumped for having sex enough.
I don't anymore. Yeah.
See, that's the problem with not doing the big public things.
How weird is that? That is just weird. And he was just sitting there drinking his drink, and then I'm just like, thanks. It's just having sex with my husband.
So Dustin asked, if you meet someone or a couple in a general setting and you want to know if they're in the lifestyle, what is a successful way to bring it up?
So like you're talking like family barbecue.
That's right. You see the hot cousin. No, sorry, we were just watching that Tiger King. And, it's funny because so many people are in the lifestyle and keep it secret.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I mean, we've been doing this a long time, and I couldn't tell you how many people we know from our vanilla world. I mean, obviously we're doing stuff like this where people can see this on YouTube and millions of views and all that kind of stuff, where people have come up to us or Facebook message us on our personal accounts and be like, I saw one of your videos. But I mean, I've met friends from high school. You have met friends from high school, like in other states, like where we grew up,
work.
Work.
I have someone at work.
And so have I. And so it's just one of those things where there's just a lot of people that do this. So it is interesting though, because when you look at someone, and this is something that I say this, because I've been doing this a long time, and I'll see a couple and I call it played art. Okay. Yes. Which is like, you just look at someone, you're like, that's a lifestyle couple. You don't know if you're right or wrong.
Right.
But sometimes you find out. But because for example, when we go on lifestyle cruises, we'll be at the airport the day beforehand, and we're just looking at every couple, and for whatever reason, you can tell, because for whatever reason, their vibe is much more open. Yeah. They're not keeping everything to themselves like this. They're just kind of, they're talking, but they're just out, like, come join our conversation, because lifestyle people are like the friendliest people in the world, unquestionably. That is, we've said it before and we'll say it again, but that's like, although you get into it to have sex with other couples, once you're in it, that becomes actually secondary to the socialization that happens, where you can just be free to talk about whatever you want. Like religion and politics never come up.
No.
And which is nice, especially with all the stuff going on in the world. It's just kind of like nobody cares about any of that. They like to talk about sex. Yeah. They like to talk about what they like, what they don't like, and a funny story they had, and all this kind of thing. That's just, and it's like almost everyone. Yeah. And we love that. But back to your question, people there's been kind of jokes over the decades as far as like how to tell who a lifestyle person is. One of them that's actually kind of funny now is decades ago there was a joke that or an old wives' tale that you could tell if someone was a swinger because they would be at the grocery store and they would have upside down pineapples in their shopping carts.
Right.
Okay. And they would apparently just wander around grocery stores, just walking around with upside down pineapples in their grocery carts.
Pick up people at the grocery store with your upside down pineapples?
And,
what the hell?
And yeah, and that, that's funny because now, because of just pineapples are very popular in culture.
Yeah.
And so like you go to any clubs and people have pineapple cups and pineapple, upside down pineapples on their shirts and necklaces and earrings and all that.
We were just taking our walk recently. Like we go on our walk, because we need to get out of the house. Mm-hmm. And we walked past a house that had a pineapple, some sort of something displayed. Like it was like it's a core. Like
oh yeah, they had a pineapple out there. And
pineapple.
And they also had one of the other old wives' tales, which is like this type of white rocks. And white rocks was one of them. Like you have white rocks in your yard. That means your life
I think it was.
I don't know. And then also the type of plant. There's like these plants that have like long
that's
grass.
a new one that I hadn't heard of.
Yeah. I mean, these are all ridiculous.
They had all of them. So
they had all of them.
We really almost went up and knocked at the door. I'm kidding. We didn't, but we were like, I wonder if we know them. Right.
Yeah. I don't know if we could break quarantine
so
with them.
We've met so many people that we know, like in our immediate, we know a lot of people that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but we got off topic now. You want to know if your lifestyle, what does it say? Oh, so how would you bring it up? Okay, so you see this couple, and you're like, yeah, my Play-Doh's going off. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an answer for that?
So you can look for the ring.
Okay, so
the black ring on the right hand. That's something that has started a lot of people in lifestyle. We're trying to come up with something to be able to be like, oh, they've got a black ring on the right hand. They must be swingers. Mm-hmm. And so if they have a black ring on the right hand, you'd be like, nice black ring. What does it signify? I guess, or ask them some sort of question. Beware, because people from other countries wear their wedding rings on their right hands, and and they wear black rings because they like the titanium, and so because we've run into that problem. We're
like, oh yeah, they're swingers. They're like, no, we're just German.
Oops, sorry. We did see a guy once at a fair that I saw him. He was on the bumper cars and watching my kids on the bumper cars, and then I see this guy with his kid on the bumper cars, and I'm like, he's black ring right hand, and I was like, where? And that's like chasing him around, like, I mean, not to do anything. He just wanted to see what his wife looks like.
Probably.
What's his wife look like?
Is it worth going up and having a conversation?
And is she wearing a ring? That doesn't always mean anything because I never remember to wear my ring.
Yeah, no, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Since we're at home, we're not running into anybody. I guess we can walk down the streets of our neighborhood and just kind of carry. Look, anyone?
Look, I go 6 feet, but 6 feet, look. For later. Let's table this for later.
You can jerk off from a distance.
We'll Zoom.
Zoom sex. Well, there's a lot of couples that are doing that type of thing now.
Yeah, which I think is a great idea.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so we're such social people. Like the lifestyle people in the lifestyle are such social people that to have that socialization kind of taken away from you, where you can't go to the clubs, can't go on dates, can't do these things. That's so hard. So what do you do? And I think having sex with your good friends or whatever through Zoom or Skype or whatever, I think that's a great idea.
Sure.
Watching porn while you have sex, that's another great idea.
Well, that's
there's
actually
a whole bunch. Put it in stereo and like put the speakers all around your bed, and it sounds like you're in an orgy.
Well, that actually backing up to what you just said about watching porn, that's actually how a lot of couples start to slowly get into having that conversation about swinging is watching porn and together and enjoying it and asking the other one, what type of porn do you like? And then seeing if there's some sort of connection as far as whether it's.
But you gotta have one person who's like, that's kind of their goal. Because we did that when we were together.
When we were together?
When we first got together, and I'd never watched porn before. And he took me to the Blockbuster video or whatever. Geez.
In the VHS days.
Yes, to go, and he was like, "You pick out the porn," and I was like, "No." He's like, "Yes, you pick out whatever you want. We'll watch whatever you want." And I was like, "Okay." So I don't remember what we watched, but it had Rose in the title.
Rose in the title.
Rose.
Well, it was,
it was French, and it was from like the 70s.
It was.
And we went back and returned
It was artsy.
I said, "You pick the next one," because obviously I'm not very good at this.
No. But you can have that conversation with your spouse and be like, "Yeah, no, I want to see an orgy." That type of thing. Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, what's the average age at the club? Well,
oh gosh,
so
it ranges.
It ranges significantly at most clubs.
Yeah.
People in lifestyle, it's really interesting because when we got into it, forever ago, 8.5 years ago, it did skew. I would say it skewed older.
What does older mean?
We were in our mid-30s, and it seemed like we were the youngest people at a lot of events. Not necessarily. There were a smattering of younger people as well, but it did seem like it was older. However, over the last few years, and then maybe it's specifically in the Pacific Northwest because we're just more open about stuff.
Yeah.
People aren't as have sticks up their butts
Right.
about sex. That it seems that there's a lot of young people that are really just kind of, you know what, I want to have sex with who I want to have sex with. Let's have an open relationship, whatever. And people are like, okay.
Ethical non-monogamy has become like so popular. Like several years ago, our oldest son had come up to me and talked about how a friend of his had come out as bisexual. A guy friend of his came out as bisexual to the entire theater group.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but. But I just was like, that's amazing. First I said, how was it received? And he was like, everybody was kind of like, whatever. And I was like, that's amazing. Like, I love that he's able to come out as bisexual. And he actually had a boyfriend and a girlfriend.
Yep.
And I was like, well, how does that go? Like, how's that? And Chandler, he's just like, whatever. Like, that age is so open-minded. They're open to having polyamorous relationships and open relationships and that kind of stuff. And I think it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. And that's going to flow into the lifestyle.
And it absolutely has.
Clubs and that.
Yeah, because now on a random Saturday night, there'll be people in their early 20s and there'll be people in their 70s. It's crazy. I mean, and busy obviously things are weird right now. Nobody's going out at all, but of course, but before all this happened, I mean, you can go on a random Saturday night and there'd be at Sapphire, there'd be 250, 300 people there of every single age, every single body type, every single ethnicity. I mean, it's fascinating, and because people are just like, you know what, I love to be open and I love to be surrounded by other people that are okay with it as well. And that's
the beauty of this whole lifestyle, isn't it? Though there's something for everyone. There's someone for everyone. Whatever your kink is, whatever you're looking for. If you've got like a bucket list of things that you want to, Matt calls it his bucket list. If you've got a bucket list, you can find whatever you're looking for, as long as you're open-minded about it. Mm-hmm. It's so awesome. I think it's just beautiful. I really do.
Baby Blue asks, do most members and lifestyle folks normally use their real names or pseudonyms? It's a mixed bag.
I mean, we wouldn't know, would we?
Right. Some people will be like, oh, that's not my name. Like, we'll be having a conversation and they'll suddenly say their spouse's name, whatever. Yeah. Like, years ago, we did an audio podcast and we're talking to a couple and they're like, we want to make sure that we only use these fake names, these pseudonyms. Do not use our real names because someone at home could find out or whatever. We're like, okay. And this is just audio. So we're like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And then we're doing the interview and then both of them at different times said their spouse's name.
We didn't mistake. They made the mistake.
But luckily, I mean, it was pre-recorded, so I just made a sound of a boing, like an erection sound, whatever, over their names. But yeah, I mean, I do know a lot of people that use pseudonyms. Pseudonyms, yeah, pseudonyms, same thing. And is it necessary? I don't really know the answer to that question.
I think only you know the answer to that.
So in lifestyle, you get regular people. Okay, so that's people that are doctors and lawyers and police officers and military and school teachers and church
Nurses.
parishioners and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of them could have issues with their job if they were found out. And so like places like Sapphire, for example, and most clubs will have a form that you fill out, a confidentiality agreement when you first go there,
Right.
because you don't know who you're going to run into, and you want to make sure that everything's if you're nervous about your real identity coming out, that you are protected
Yeah.
so that other people don't do that. However, that being said, because we do run into this all the time where someone runs into someone from their school or their church or their whatever at
It'll happen.
clubs, and they basically, you just have to realize that they're there for the same reason as you. So you're keeping their secret, they're keeping your secret, and then it's fine.
Yeah.
If you have two different names because somebody knows you by your real name and somebody knows you by your pseudonym, then that could be awkward, or could run into a problem or whatever, or it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I think if people find out, if you go by, a fake name, and someone from the real world comes in, is like, "Hey, Jack, how's it going?" And you're like, "I'm not Jack, I'm Matt," or whatever. I mean, you guys have a little giggle about it, or be like, "Hey, around here, people call me Jack, or Matt, or whatever." Just whatever you're comfortable with. It so doesn't matter. But it's almost easier just to use your real name, though, right? Because you don't want to forget.
Mhm.
Often there's so many jokes that go around about remembering people's names in lifestyle. Like if you go on a vacation, you're typically going to wear a necklace that has your name on it, which is helpful. There have been jokes about getting tramp stamps with your name written on it.
With your name.
Your name, your
Yeah.
own name. So I would have Bianca on my low back, so that when I'm being fucked from behind, he actually knows my name. So
I love that.
it just we have a rule that we have to fuck you 3 times before we have to remember your name.
That's polite.
And oftentimes he won't remember, but I will, or I won't remember, but he will.
Yeah.
So we're good.
We're as a team.
Yeah, we're definitely a team. Because there have been times where he's like, "Oh, there's that one guy you fucked that one time," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? I never fucked that guy." And he's like, "Yes, you did. Remember that?" And I'm like, "No," and we will have a full-on argument. And then finally, I'm like, "Oh shit, you're right. I did." So, but it was only once. I didn't have to remember.
That's right. That's right. Look, 3 times, and then did. Well, I think
That's
you
a
should.
rule of thumb. 3 times.
Well, you should remember the sex, not necessarily remember the name.
Oh, but I mean, do you? Make it memorable.
Exactly. And Alpha asked if we're going to leave this video up on the site when it's over. Yes, absolutely. A lot of people couldn't watch it tonight, and that's fine. And we're doing kind of a long video, so that's cool. We don't mind. We just figured we'd have some fun and talk to people, because everybody's kind of stuck at home.
Yeah.
So do this type of thing, So yeah. So let's see what else we have. Someone had asked. I missed a question earlier. I don't remember what it was. There it is. Have you ever not slept with a couple because of what other couples said about them?
Kind of.
Really?
I mean, you and I aren't people that really take we're not big drama.
Mm-hmm.
We're not big gossip people. We're just not into that. I mean, half the time something will happen and it'll be a year later and we're like, "What happened with that one thing?" And everybody's like, "Oh, you didn't hear the gossip." And we're like, "No." We are so not gossip people. So oftentimes we won't hear the negative stuff about the people. But there was a story about someone who likes to bite penises.
Yep.
That was the first thing that came to my mind.
What about to my mind?
And so I'm thinking, you're probably never going to have sex with her, whether she does or not. That's the story that's going around. And so you're probably not going to ever go down that road.
Yeah. Because very, very attractive woman I've known for many years, but a few people have told me that she's a biter. And I don't want my dick bit, because I was with a woman a few years ago, and this was an interesting story. So this was in an orgy situation in Vegas, and this was a bunch of random people.
And was it Milfman asks, "What's your worst swinger experience?" So this would probably be it.
Worst swinger experience. Cool. It's a pretty. That's just when there's a lot, but
a lot of bad experience.
No. But if I thought about it, I could probably find a few that are just super weird or awkward or something like that. But no, this was an orgy situation, and this was at a big event, so nobody knew each other. We just all we were like in a group, and someone's like, let's just pick up people and just like all go back to a room.
I think there were like 6 of us, and then one of the people of the 6 of us, as we were walking through the dance floor to go to our room or whoever's room, was like, "You're cute, come with us." "Oh, you're cute, come with us, come on." And by the time we get back to the room, I think we had like a dozen people.
Something like that, yeah. It's a good party. And so like
back there, we're like, "Who the fuck are these people?"
Yeah. So like this was a couple, like they had never done anything at all. The wife had never been with anyone except for her husband. And so, that right there is a red flag generally. But we were already in the situation, and they seemed raring to go. He's like, "I don't want to do anything. I just want to watch my wife have sex with someone." And I'm like, okay, I have no problem with that. And so, I'm having sex with her, and she just like, she was ripping my penis apart with her teeth, just ripping, just grinding, and just, this was like 7 years ago, and I remember it vividly as just like probably the only time in my entire life that I took a woman's head and I said nope. And I didn't say nope. I just kind of like, let's have sex now, because I don't want your teeth down there. No more. It's like, guys, don't turn down blowjobs, but that was a blowjob no. But I didn't, of course, want to say anything too, because I wouldn't want to hurt her feelings, because she's brand new and all this. I couldn't say anything anyway. Yeah. But those things. But I wouldn't tell other people, no, don't go. Be careful with her, because she's gonna rip your dick apart. Yeah. So at some point she might figure that there's a better way to do it that doesn't include that, or I might have been larger than the husband or something like that, where I'm just gonna go with yes, I was larger than the husband, and she just hadn't had something that big in her mouth before. That's probably. I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah. So then. Milfman asked, "What is your worst swinger experience?" Do we have one?
I think
we don't have a lot of bad experiences. We have like weird things that happen to us for sure. But like, I mean, that one time where you fuck the girl to sleep is a good story.
Oh, that's you told the ending of the story.
Was the worst story. But everybody's like, "How did he fuck her to sleep?" Tell me so I don't do it.
Yeah. That's such a funny story. Yeah.
Was our one and only date.
The more alcohol you have, the more the stories come out.
The one and only time we've ever been on a date.
Yeah.
With people we don't know.
With people we don't know. We didn't meet. I think we met them online on one of the websites, and
met them at a restaurant.
Hit it off.
They're great. Yeah, really cool.
And then we go back to their place, and the wife had quite a bit to drink, and but she wasn't at that point where you'd be like, no, I don't want to do this. She was just relaxed.
Yeah.
And so you were having sex with a husband in the living room, and then we were in the bedroom having sex, and then you guys finished, and so you came and joined in with myself and the woman, and we had already been going at it for a while, and we kind of were moved down to that kind of like chills. Yeah, that's a good way to.
We're not really ready to be done, but we don't really want to be like aggressive.
And she was, and we were just enjoying each other's bodies. And so
basically, he's behind fucking her, and I was giving her a scalp massage.
And I'm fucking her very slowly, and I'm rubbing on her back, and I'm just kind of rubbing her. It's very sensual. Yeah. And then at one point, you look over, and you're like, I think she's asleep.
This can't be good.
And I'm in the middle of having sex with her.
Slowly back away.
So we pulled the penis out of the vagina and let her sleep.
We're going to go to bed now. That was awkward. That was awkward. Yeah, the next day was a little awkward.
The next morning, because we spent the night there. And then I contacted them a short while later, and they never... Poof, I think, but they were also one of those couples that like they only meet people online. Like I think he had a big deal job or something like that, and it was just one of those, we don't want to know anybody. We want to know them for an evening and then never talk to them again. Which is, there's people like that lifestyle. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
It's not our jam.
Yeah, I think we like to know people.
Yeah.
That's the best type of sex is for us is when you, after you've had sex once, that you want to do it again, some other time, a second time, because you enjoyed it so much, but you also enjoyed the personality, you enjoyed the conversations that you had with them, you enjoyed just being with them and having them as friends. I think the coolest thing ever is when you meet lifestyle folks and you've had sex with them, but you actually go and do something super vanilla.
Yeah.
Like you just go to a regular bar, or you go to a movie, or you go to whatever, and you're just hanging out with friends and not doing anything.
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome. Which is, why I like what Sapphire has been doing since the whole lockdown thing. Is they actually have a few nights a week they have online. Like not Skype, what do you call that? Zoom meetings. Everybody's doing Zoom meetings. Where it's basically just people talking to each other. Like, Wednesday nights they have
it's like a happy hour.
It's a happy hour, come in and talk and say hi to your friends and, meet and talk and ask questions and do all those things. And then like Monday nights we have like a guys one where it's no, you're not allowed. And
no titties allowed.
No titties, we'll talk about titties. We do that quite a bit, actually, shockingly.
Thursdays is ladies only.
And they have a dance party and all that on Friday nights or Saturdays or whatever it might be. So they actually have quite a bit going on where because lifestyle people just like to connect with other lifestyle folks. So
oh, thank you.
Oh, I thank you, Milkman. I love this live stream. You too should do more often after this whole thing is over, hopefully soon.
Yeah, someone else earlier asked if we would be doing more of these, and yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No. No. This is fun.
Can I? Well, so we actually just created a Patreon account. Is that okay to talk about that one?
Well, since you just mentioned
just did it.
Just look at Matt and Bianca. There you go.
Okay,
Don't mention it all. Yeah. It's all good. Because we've been doing these videos for now
8 years.
Yeah, 8
since
years.
The beginning. I mean, we really felt like when we first got into lifestyle, like there was no information out there, or there was a lot of misinformation out there, and we just were like, we need to let people know like how to navigate through this, because there's so many questions that come up. How do you do this? How do you talk to someone? How do you, how are you successful? How do you become successful? What do you do? And so it was just, we just felt like the information just needed to get out there.
Right.
And we've loved every part of this journey.
So what do you think? Like maybe like Sundays, like same time? Does that think that might? Yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So because we weren't sure how long we were going to do this. We set it up for a couple hours, but we're like an hour 15, something like that. Just depends on how much we wanted to talk to each other and how drunk we got. So
I'm not nearly drunk enough.
Well, here you go.
This glass is really small compared to the last one I had. So thank you, Baby Blue.
So we appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't been to clubsapphire.net yet, check it out. I don't know if you guys are members or if you're not members, or if you're in the lifestyle or not in the lifestyle. It's actually pretty cool. We do get a lot of people couples that will come in just to check out the vibe.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna play with other people. They're not going to have sex with others. They don't want a unicorn yet, or they don't want to play with other people yet, or whatever, or never.
It's a good way to just like dip your toe in. I mean, it's fucking live porn. If people are having sex in the back and you're back there, like it's live porn. Like whether you're just with your own partner or that's pretty hot in itself, right? Like if you can they have like all these nooks and crannies where you can be with your partner, your husband, wife, whatever, partner, soulmate, and you can be up in this, bunk bed area and lofted area and just listen and watch and have sex with your partner, and that's a huge turn on. Like you don't even have to have sex with other people there. Yeah, we
try to talk when we go to the club. We try to talk to as many new people as we possibly can that we run into, and we'll talk to people that have been there 2-3 times, and they'll be like, "Yeah, we haven't played with anybody, but we've gone in the back and we've played in the big rooms with each other where no one can kind of touch us or do anything." I mean, people ask anyway, but they don't want that yet. They just want to be around that vibe, and they're like, "Oh my God, our sex has gotten way better, and it's so hot, and we just are fucking like rabbits." And we talk about it all the time. We talk about our fantasies, and we talk about what we don't like and what we do like, and other bucket lists. It's like pretty early on, my bucket list was pretty extensive. It was I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this because I'm a guy, and guys watch porn, and guys have imagination, and they are like, I want to do all of the things. And it's like, if you're open to those things, and if your spouse is open to those things, I mean, your fantasies can come true, which is an amazing
for
way to
both of you.
Yeah, for both of you.
Because we have fantasies too.
Really?
No, I don't know.
You don't know.
I haven't been brave enough to act out on my fantasies yet.
That's true. Are we talking about? Yeah, you have not done a gangbang yet.
I've not done a gangbang, and I haven't really even had a threesome
yet.
Yeah. An MFM threesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't really come up. No guys really want to have sex with you. So
I know. It's so sad.
I wonder why. That's so weird.
I talk too much.
That's right. You got to put something in your mouth. Okay. Oh, there we go. Since Matt is the gatekeeper, that's me. I'm the gatekeeper. You're my key master, baby.
I know. I was thinking of Ghostbusters too.
Has there ever been a time where Matt wanted, or where Bianca wanted to have sex with the guy, but Matt stopped it?
Maybe early on, but I can't think of any examples.
There's a gentleman who wants to have sex with you.
Yeah, but I don't really want to have sex with him.
Yeah, but I think early on you probably would have. But I think he's done enough negative stuff that you've just been kind of turned off to the whole idea. But early on, I mean, there was a gentleman who it just isn't going to happen because he's done a lot of kind of creepy things to people over the years, and we just don't want to go down that road.
But we both kind of agree on that.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're like no, and I'm like sad face.
But I feel like early on, since I had learned a lot of this stuff probably before you.
Well, I remember like when we first met this person, you were like, no, like not, and I was like, well, I'm not even interested. Like that's not even like, I didn't even think like it was even on the table because I'm so fucking clueless. You could be totally into me, and until you actually say I am into you, will you go in the back with me? I don't think you're interested at all. So I was like, yes, he is. I'm like, no, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not. So it didn't even matter to me. It wasn't even on the table. I didn't even think that it was something that was going to happen. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You don't like him, okay, whatever. But yeah, so it wasn't. Yeah, so we kind of agreed on that one. But other than that,
or other way around.
We play separately. No, because I think because we've evolved to a different place that like, yes, when we were 8 years ago, there probably would have been a time where I was like, no, you cannot play with that person or whatever. He would have been that way. But I think because we play separately now that I mean, there have definitely been people that he's played with that I was like, really? You went that direction? I mean, okay, I wasn't there, but okay. So I question his choices sometimes.
But they're my choices.
But they're his choices, and I don't have to be there to
watch.
I can go have a glass of wine somewhere else or whatever. So, for us, that's the beauty of playing separately, where that's just where we evolve to. And not everybody evolves there. Not everybody goes there. Everybody's journey is totally different. These are things we say all the time, that you just have to stick to your own journey and what you're both comfortable with and honor your own road, so to say. Yeah, and as you had mentioned, we do play separately much more often than not. Early on, that was actually one of our original 3 rules. Was one of them was same room only, room only, because there was a comfort level. There was is she gonna get murdered? Oh, I remember being like that one couple that was like, oh, they play separately. There must be something wrong with their marriage.
Oh, really?
we were that.
Oh, we were that couple.
They were like, "There's something wrong with them."
Oh, that's
they
interesting.
Play separately.
And
now we're like,
huh.
yeah, we were kind of jerks. Right
well, we
just didn't know. Yeah. But that's the thing. We didn't have someone out there telling us it's okay. That you have to honor where you go and what you as a couple want and what you discuss and how you feel and knowing also that today is different than tomorrow. That today this is where we are. Tomorrow it could be totally somewhere different. We talk before we go to the club about where we're feeling and is there going to be any play or not play, or sometimes I just feel like I just want to be around you. I don't really, I don't really want to play with anybody else. I just want to hang out with you. And so we will talk about what we're feeling before we go to the club. And, as people who've been doing this for a while, like sometimes we just want to be with each other or just go to socialize and not even have sex at the club or we get there and we're both like, shoo. separate directions.
Yeah,
So,
and all of the above. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I would think that there's actually many more times that we haven't played
Oh,
than
yeah.
we have. Because we don't. We just love being around the people
Yeah.
more than anything. I mean, that's definitely what it is.
Well, and we've also come to this realization that it's while that is the goal, is to have sex. It's not. It's more of the journey, right? It's the journey and not the destination. I've been taking a lot of yoga classes. It's like it's meeting
it's the
the
sex,
people,
not the orgasm.
like that, reaching that destination. That mountain is beautiful, and the goal is gorgeous, and sex, it's good, can be fabulous. But it's really that journey, right? That brings us to the sex and makes it all part of this. If this was all just about sex, 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 I feel like it could get somewhat boring after a while.
Okay.
From a lot of people,
Sure,
that go and getting excited about getting dressed up and looking pretty and feeling sexy and meeting people that want to have sex with you or just talk to you or whatever, like that foreplay is so much fun. And even if it doesn't go anywhere, it's just fun to sit and flirt and chat and dance sexy and dance with someone else and
get naked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good part too. But I think the reasons that we primarily do play separately is since we've kind of gone through everything, like you mentioned, using the word evolution, because we've changed so much over the years as far as what we do and what we like and what we don't like, that we found that although orgies are great when you've got a big puppy pile of people and you're all doing your things together, that's kind of awesome in its own way. There's also something to be said about when you are just having one-on-one sex with someone, that you can focus on them better when you aren't concerned or paying attention to what's going on over here or over here. If you're, one good example that we use is there have been times, because usually when I'm with a woman, I like to take my time for a while. Like I like it to be a lengthy experience, that you might be with a guy and the guy is done after 10 minutes or 15 or 5 or whatever it might be. And the 4 of us are in a room somewhere and now you guys are like, now what do we do? Yeah. And like, I might not even have hardly even started yet. And then, but now I'm looking at it going, well, now I have to kind of rush through things because they're done and they're bored or they don't want, they're not interested
or
in
we're
watching.
chatting about other stuff and that's distracting to them.
That too. Yeah, that it becomes a little bit difficult. But also from a guy's performance standpoint too, if I have to be paying attention to what's going on over there because you guys are having a conversation about baseball, well then then
so I have conversations about baseball all the time.
Then suddenly my genitals are starting to go down a bit, and that's not good.
But then there is something to be said for same room sex in that if sometimes it just doesn't work. The equipment just doesn't work for whatever reason. There can be a million reasons. And we've been together for like ever. And I know how your equipment works. So for me, I can be like, well, we're not doing anything. I can help you out a little bit, get you hard, and then you can finish off with that person. So there is something to be said for same room as well. Because it can just, I know what you like. I've had sex with you once or twice. Yeah. Whereas this person has not had sex with you, so they don't know exactly. I think that's my biggest hang up with the lifestyle is when you go to have sex with someone for the first time, you want to do your best work, right? My best work is what you like. I don't know what this person likes. So you try and pull out all the best tricks in your bag, like what I know that you like and everything. And it's always in the back of my head of what if he doesn't like teeth? Or no, I'm kidding. What if he doesn't like this thing I do, or he doesn't like it as fast as Matt does, or as slow as Matt does, or whatever. So, but I feel like we all have that fear though, right? And when you're able to be in a room alone with the person, it's a little bit easier to stop and joke around or be slower or faster. And I think most people in lifestyle are pretty open. I haven't met anybody that wasn't open to some feedback of, you know, a little to the left, or, you know, not so many nails or whatever. I don't know. But like, I think we're all okay with a little bit of like nice feedback. I mean, don't be mean about it and smack them on the head and be like, you're doing it wrong, dummy. Like,
no, feedback is great.
Feedback is good, and that's okay, because I think that that can be a lot of people's hangups. Is you're having sex with this person for the first time. Everybody wants to do their best job. Like, that's why we do this, right? Like, it's our hobby. It's what we do for fun. You're not going to go out there and half-ass it. So you're going to give your best, but your best may not be what they're looking for. So if that's not working for you, I think it's okay to say, hey, could you try it this way? And you, like, if I'm giving you a blowjob and you're not enjoying it and you want me to slow down or speed up or use less teeth, I don't know.
Or more teeth.
More teeth. Like, I might learn a new trick and be like, oh, dude, you should try this. He really liked teeth.
And I'm like, well, if the guy likes it, there must be some reason for it.
Down on you, you know, like, I mean, that's part of what we like about this is you can learn so much, right? You learn new techniques, you learn new things, you learn things you will never ever do.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I had this thought recently, like, because someone on the internet had said something like, if you want to have really good sex, you have sex with a porn star, because porn stars do it like constronally. And I'm like, no way, swingers are probably way better at sex than,
because this is our hobby. It's not our job. We don't get paid for it.
Well,
we do it because we wanna.
And they're doing it for a specific look of a camera angle or whatever type of thing, where, you know, it's not necessarily the enjoyment of the actual sex.
Right.
Where people in lifestyle, it's like, we want to be really good at this.
We want to be good at this. We want to learn. Like, I'm in there when I'm having sex, like, taking notes. Like, what did you like? I'm going to interview you afterwards. No, I'm kidding. I don't.
but you should. Vance wants to know about about toys in the club.
Well, I know it. Our club Sapphire, toys are always welcome. And a lot of people do bring toys. We don't. We're not a big toy couple.
But we know a lot of people that do.
But we know
one gentleman who that's his thing.
Yeah.
That's his key in the door. He is a BDSM, but like he has like a sensitivity towards like he has all the little tools that women like, that are, you know, the feathers,
something
and all that
wheel, some Weller wheel or something. I don't know, sharp stabby nail.
But the women are like, I want to try this.
Yeah, like he'll bring paintbrushes and just like, or makeup brushes or whatever, and it's very sensual and very nice.
Yeah, and that's his trick, and
it can be anything.
Yeah, no, it's good for him. Yeah. So,
but like we've met people that bring like their whole Hitachis, and a lot of clubs have Sibians. So you can.
But you know, they usually have plugs everywhere and all that good stuff, if that's your thing. So I know a lot of women that they can't get off without a vibrator, even with penis and vagina sex, and they so they kind of need that. And that's fine. Just have an extension cord, I guess.
Or battery operated, even better. Or rechargeable. Like plug it USB into your laptop or your, I don't know.
Cell phone.
It's your cell phone. Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to try that. So I knew someone who had like a thing that you put up in you, like a little egg thing. And then her husband had an app on his phone. And she and I were having lunch, and he would be able to like control.
She's in the middle of conversation.
Hold on a minute. I've always wanted to try that.
Okay. We'll have to get one.
So we tried that once. Once we were on a date with a couple, a good friends of ours. And I put that in and gave him the remote control. We had just a super cheap one that we got, I don't know, like off of Wish.com or something like that. And it did not turn off. It did not turn off. But it was amazing that I actually used it, because I remember when we used it. Okay, so first time, this story is so bad because I started at the wrong point. But when we first got it, I put it in and I was making dinner. And then we were having dinner with our kids, and it started shocking me. I had to leave the table. So don't buy a cheap one off of Wish. Buy a good one, because you don't want her to get shocked.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
I
did. I was getting shocked.
Got the wrong one. Got the kink one.
Yeah, it was no good.
Pushing the wrong
I'm
button.
like, I need to leave right now. Yeah, but then I did give that to him, and I don't think it worked as well. And then like I don't know, I do remember getting up in the middle of dinner and having to go get rid of it, and I'm pretty sure it got tossed right after that because it was just junk.
Yeah, it's probably.
But I've always thought that, like, to me, that's so sexy to like put that in somewhere like you don't know, and then like I just hand you the remote at some whatever cocktail party or something, and be like, here you go.
Nice.
I think that'd be really hot.
That's hot.
We need to get one of those.
Yeah, actually, we should put one in you, and then like put the code or whatever, so that people in the conversations can push.
Oh, you guys wouldn't give me a fucking break.
That's true. Just having an orgasm the whole
The
time.
first orgasm that comes and they're like, well, that was fun. Let's keep going. Yeah, I was a cam girl for a minute.
All right. Okay, so I think we've kind of gone over lots of things, and this was a pretty good time. So this was fun. I think we'll definitely do this again. In the meantime, definitely check out www.clubsapphire.net and check out all the stuff that is going on online right now. And but things will open up sooner than later, and we'll get back to touching each other in very dirty ways. So. Not just our spouse.
Or like you're supposed to wash your hands.
But,
Yeah. Wash your hands first.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because I don't know if you have or not. So, and we have 3 channels, so that's all.
Yeah. Subscribe to all the channels because you want all the information.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.